coming to you from deep beneath the murky waters that lie beyond the Lake Erie shoreline. This is the Cleveland Podcast! With Fred the Mud Monster and South Bay Caesar. Find us online at facebook.com/The Cleveland Podcast or email us at theclevelandpodcast@gmail.com. Now, join us as we journey through Northeast Ohio and the city of Cleveland. Hey, Fred!
What's going on, Caesar?
Hey, this is Caesar, and I love salad.
Oh, you beat me to it, darn it.
Oh, I guess you can't say it now.
So, Caesar, what are we covering today? Something about buildings.
I like tall buildings, and I cannot lie.
You other architects cannot deny
that when I walk into a tall building with a big thing in the sky, I get sprung.
We're talking about skyscrapers. But of course, before we go into the big old phallus-looking things that exist on the great skyline of Cleveland, we're going to introduce our guest. Ordinarily, I would just say a bunch of random shit. That would be some form of introduction, but I'd like to spice things up, so I'll let our guest introduce himself. Take it away, Mr. Guest.
Thank you very much. My name, well, I got many names. Some call me Jake. Some call me Jake. Some ask me if I'm wearing khakis or if I work at State Farm, but I simply like to call myself Jake.
Fair enough. You see, this guest is a little bit different from the past two we've had.
Oh my.
This one's a little bit more of an oddball.
Last two were experts in their fields.
This time around, I don't think you're the expert of anything.
Oh, Lordy B. I blacked out and I woke up in this strange room with microphones.
That's right. We kidnapped him. Since last time, Will scared off guests, and we almost ate Jacob. This time around, we kidnapped Jake for this episode.
Deary me.
Deary me, indeed. All right, Jake, you are a local resident of Cleveland, correct?
Yep.
Fair enough. So obviously, we're trying to do our second time for this segment, which is the top 100 things to do in Cleveland. I will read off 11 through 20 because we did 1 through 10 with Mr. Chabowski last time. Therefore, I want you to just give me the top 10 things that you would recommend for people to do in Cleveland, and then I'll read the 11 through 20 and you get reaction. All right?
That sounds great.
So what are your top 10?
All right. So starting from 10 and going to 1. So I would say, actually, no particular order. This is tough. I will say hiking is definitely one of my favorites. I really love going to restaurants, whether it's for food, appetizers. That's another one. I love going to great bars. I love going to places that have board games or like party games. I love going to walk around different towns. I love exploring different towns that I haven't been to in Cleveland. I love, let's see, I love taking my dogs out for a walk. Who let the dogs out?
Is that on the list?
Is that actually? Would you be surprised?
Let's see. How many was that? I think that was like 6,
7. Yeah.
I like going to like record stores, looking at new music, finding local bands from the area. I love playing frisbee. And let's see, I will say I love, and some of these are very personal, I love organizing events for the meetup group that I am with.
Interesting. So that's a very personalized top 10. Let's talk about the 11 through 20 from the Cleveland scene of the top 100 things to do in Cleveland before you die. Number 11, toboggan at the chalet. Winter screaming fun. If you want to toboggan, there's only one place to do so. You've skied, sledded, and ice skated. But to properly round out the winter sporting experience, slide down a chute of ice while the cold water blasts your face. Is that a good recommendation?
That's great, actually. I actually forgot to say that I love cross-country skiing. So anything that's winter, like.
That's good for you.
Well, when you live in a town where it's winter, like
all the time,
7 months a year.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
You better like winter sports.
Yeah, the Fred myself does not like this being cold all the time. But you see, my mud starts to get a little bit frozen, and therefore I have to just keep hitting my mud in order to break it off. Just keep doing that, and it just leaves a mess. Well, on top of that, too, think about all the salt, and therefore everything's got like muddy salt lines. It's a very bad experience. Like my kitchen has muddy salt lines, and the ants come around. They go after the mud.
But yet it's great for your skin. So call us at 1-800-MUDLINE. There is no S at the end of this.
That's right. We got even more bougie than last time. Last time we had computers. This time around, we even have a phone line. An imaginary phone line. What do you think about that, Caesar?
Somebody's going to get a bunch of phone calls.
Oh, yes, for sure. They could go, hello? Who's this? Yeah, I'm here for the Fred the Mud Monster mud skincare product. What? What are you talking about? But we're going to move on. Number 12. Eat at Melt Bar and Grilled. Matt Fish has built a cheese empire. That's kind of ironic, given his name is Fish. From humble beginnings with one Lakewood location to a cadre of grilled cheese restaurants across Ohio, Melt is one of the defining culinary touch points of Cleveland and the subject of just about every travel show that rolls through town. What do you think about that, Mr. O'Brien?
I love Melt. I do. I shouldn't, but they have great beer. They have amazing and also very unhealthy sandwiches, but I love going. It's a great way to feel even worse about yourself in a very great way.
Absolutely. I've never really had Melt.
It's very cheesy. It's like you bite into a sandwich and there's like a pool of cheese on your plate.
Oh, interesting. Now, are we talking about like a deep dive pool or like kiddie pool of cheese? What are we talking about?
Do you like the deep end?
I do like the deep end.
Then I think you're going to like Melt.
Okay, fair enough.
Just make sure you have a lifeguard.
That means, of course, Caesar cannot have that because he's all about the salads.
All right, I'm calling 1-800-MUDLINE.
Wow.
What should I say if they answer?
Hello? Yes, this is Smelly Moldy Ghost receiving the call. Hello?
Nobody's answering. Nobody answers anymore.
That's true. No one does.
Everybody has caller ID. They're like,
That's right.
They're gonna.
Calling Wealth Planning Advisors, you reached the office of Kathy Diddick. If you're calling during normal business hours,
wow.
on another line. Our normal business hours.
Should we leave a message?
Anyways, don't call 1-800-MUDLINE.
No, don't do that. No, you'll get something else and you'll get in trouble. Number 13, take a trip to Putin Bay. I didn't know Putin
Bay.
Putin, yeah. I guess Putin has a favorite place in America. I'm not surprised. Northeast Ohio's private little island getaway has seen its share of drunken escapades. Go add your own dose of debauchery or simply enjoy the laid-back atmosphere and serene surroundings. Have you been to that island?
A very long time ago. It's actually, I went in 8th grade. I didn't see Putin, though, but it was very intriguing. I hear the parties are very good. The debauchery is, I wasn't old enough to drink then, you know.
This sounds like a very wonderful place.
Yes. Nostrovia.
It's wonderful. I dig vodka, and then suddenly I wind up on island with great water.
This is the best place. I gotta tell you, you know, I thought I invented the island myself. It's the best place. It's the best place.
I went to Putin Bay once, and I woke up in a thorn tree.
A thorn tree?
I had wandered off. We were day drinking, and somehow I woke up in a thorn tree, and I looked around, and I had like thorns in my arm. I'd passed out in a thorn tree. Pretty rough.
I hear that's very healthy for you. Kind of like Mudline. Call 1-800-THORNTRE. 1-800-THORN-TREE. We will throw you in a thorn bush for free.
I think that's too many.
That's all. You see, Jake is a walking advertisement.
Call 1-800-JAKEEEE. You'll get to talk to Jake for only $50 an hour.
But I woke up and I started looking around, and I apparently had my day drinking mid-afternoon nap, and I was refreshed and ready to go again. And I looked around and I looked down a hill and I saw a town. I think the town that I had come from where I was drinking, and that's where all my friends were. So I started walking towards them, and I ended up back with my friends again.
And they lived happily ever after. What a beautiful story.
I woke up on a thorn bush. Next thing I know, my friends are there, and I became reunited with my friends.
And we started drinking again.
More drinking.
Wait, so were you like, I mean, alcohol is good for the wounds. Did you like throw some beer on like your wounds?
I threw some beer in my mouth.
That's the ultimate way to heal all wounds. Just drink the damn thing.
I used to have a friend that would say, if you have like a cut or a bruise, you put alcohol on it. So if you are sick internally, you need to put alcohol on it.
That makes so much sense.
Right? It does make sense. Number 14, go to a high school football game. Ohio is crazy for high school football. Outside of Texas or Florida, the Buckeye State is home to the most rabid fans and competitive teams. Take in any local game to see for yourself, whether it is the Ignatius versus Ed's Holy War, Glenville Willoughby South, Canton McKinley, or your local squad. It's one of the best times you'll have watching sports all year. Has anyone else, anyone here gone to a high school football game?
When I was in high school. I mean, who wants to go to a football game though and be blessed with holy water? If you're going to the Ignatius and Ed's game, you're going to be just blessed with the holy water. I bet that's what they serve in the stands.
Oh, God.
Bless you. God bless you.
Oh.
Hey, you know how they make holy water, right?
You boil the hell out of it. Nice try, Caesar. That's what I use for my mud care routine. I boil the hell out of it to get holy water because this mud comes pristine. This is mud from the great lands of Trebizond, the great Holy Land. That is what my mud is. All right. Number 15, see a play at Near West Theater. Cleveland is one of the best theater scenes outside of Broadway, and that goes for touring acts as well as homegrown productions. Near West is a grassroots theater benefiting youth and adults. Local theater is good theater, and the Cleveland art scene is better for having these folks around.
I really like the theater scene. I've started to get into it a lot more. I especially liked when I was in a play of my own during Broadway. It was a play of me and all my different personalities.
That's not true.
It might be.
That sounds a little bit like a straitjacket type of thing.
Right. This is, I think 11 through 20 so far is way better than 1 through 10.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the fact that we literally recommended one of them. If you listen to our last episode, Jake, what was one of them? The skating in Public Square, and we literally just said, no, that's not even the best place to do it.
Go to another town.
Right. It's like they said skate in like Public Square, and we just said just go to Akron.
But these are
it's
pretty
much
good.
bigger. Yeah, this is much better. They're doing their research here. Thank you, Cleveland Scene. You are making us look good.
The theater district is pretty great.
Yeah,
it is pretty great.
I'm seeing Book of Mormon. I'm seeing that in September, and I recently saw. The name is escaping me, which doesn't help. I'll let you know.
All right. I've been told that you can actually go on, like weekend mornings, you can go on free tours of some of those theaters. Like you don't actually go to see the play. The plays get pretty expensive, right? I think they start around like 40, 50 or something like that.
They do start pretty high.
Yeah. So it's not a cheap thing, but you can go in and you can actually tour. From what I've heard, you can actually tour all the theaters for free.
It was a Bronx Tale.
Oh, Bronx Tale. I've actually seen Hamilton, but I saw that in New York, so that was kind of cool. I saw it with the original cast and everything.
Yeah, I was kind of in a little bit in the theater scene when I was like in high school. I'd help out with tech crew, so it's something I've always been into. But I've always been more into plays, but I'm starting to get a little bit more into musicals.
Right.
But I definitely would recommend like going to Playhouse Square because there's a lot of great restaurants in the area too. So it's not just famous for that. The whole area is really, you can't get bored.
What's your favorite show tune?
Things like this don't happen to girls like me.
Wow, that's
a Bronx Tale.
That's the most manly woman I've ever heard. Woo!
Yeah, it's a great story. Really,
absolutely.
It is.
I think mine was in Hamilton when they said, "Immigrants, we get it done," and I think that's a rather good line, particularly in this day and age with the political climate. That's a rather fitting song for things
I agree.
of sorts.
I do. I agree.
Moving on, though, number 16, visit League Park. C.Y. Young threw out the first pitch when League Park opened at the corner of Lexington and East 66. That's right. Cleveland had C.Y. Young, the guy named after the frickin' pitching trophy. The Tribe won the 1920 World Series there. That means it's been a long time since we've won another World Series. Since the 40s of Dublu, correct?
I think that's right.
Okay. Babe Ruth hit his 500th home run at the park.
Wait, the question was, when's the last time we won the World Series?
Yeah. Though it was mostly torn down in 1951, parts of the park remain, and Cleveland has plans to renovate the space. So, like, League Park is down in like a little bit down in the the east 70s to the east 80s in Cleveland. Have you been there?
I've not been there, but I've recently, maybe I should go because I've also recently started to get more into baseball. And I know that in Cleveland, people are very passionate about baseball. So I think, if you can get into it, I think it's a great sport to get into. I think they've got many specials at the shows, giveaway prizes. I don't know if it's the same at League Park, but maybe I should go.
I went to my first Cleveland Indians game and I was rooting for the Mets. And
really?
I was wearing this really tiny fedora. Yeah. Correct me, Caesar, if I've told the story before.
Yeah.
I did it again. No.
Oh, no.
I'm running out of stories. I'm actually a boring person.
Oh, you're not.
The last championship was in 1948.
Okay, I was right.
Cleveland Indians World Series.
I mean, 1940s, that's a good estimate range. Okay, we're going to move on to number 17. Tailgate in the Muni lot. From the denizens lining up to park before the sun comes up to the dog pound faithful, chugging beers throughout the morning, there's nothing like the Muni lot. For a Browns fan, tailgating is almost, and usually, better than the game itself.
I mean, going from college, I can say that, that's definitely true. I haven't say I've done that before. I haven't gone to as many Browns games as I probably should, but it's something to try.
Have you hung out in the Muni lot?
I haven't, actually.
I haven't either. I want to, though. I was thinking about that, doing it this year.
A group trip?
Yeah, we should.
Yes. Well, actually, Caesar and I went to the Brown scrimmage recently.
Oh.
It was good.
It was good. I mean, it was mostly just people just going, look, the ball is caught.
Did they let you guys on the team?
Hardly.
They did let a guy on the team this year who just asked to be on the team. Remember?
That's true. Yeah. This was a guy that actually.
What is his name?
He Giuseppe.
Right.
So this guy was actually at one point, he actually lied his way to get into the team because there was a tryout, right? Mm-hmm. And they said, oh, well, you need to know somebody. You need to know this. You need to know people in order to get into the tryout. This guy didn't know anybody, but he just kind of walked up and said, oh, I know the guy. I know the personnel guy, like the head of the personnel. And like, okay, yeah, come on in. Lo and behold, he gets a roster spot. Well, at least he's fighting for one. And now all of a sudden this guy scored like an 86-yard punt return for a touchdown,
which is a hard thing to do.
Which is really hard. So he has as of right now, there's a good chance he might be on an NFL roster. And considering the fact that this guy was homeless for a week, I think a couple days before going to the Browns tryout. And now all of a sudden he gets to be in the NFL. That's a pretty great story. I mean, he literally would wait. He literally used all of his money in order to just go from place to place. This guy was rejected by college teams and then he went on a track team. It's a whole crazy story. So actually, if you want to know where that crazy story is, you can look up YouTube Flumlo Raps, who has a great breakdown of this entire story.
He's a fast guy. And
very fast.
And when he scored that touchdown, when he returned that punt for a touchdown, the entire team just jumped on him, piled on him. I'm surprised they didn't intro him like they did with Ted Ginn Jr. in the championship.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that. But outside of good feel-good stories, we have number 18, which is a very feel-good moment to walk through, which is the walk on the lower level of the Detroit Superior Bridge. A subway used to run on the lower level of Detroit Superior Bridge. Don't you know? Ooh, don't you?
Don't you know?
Don't you know? That's a little bit weird. They threw that in there. And that level, rarely seen by the public, is open a few times a year for tours. Have you done that?
I haven't done that either. Man, I'm feeling like I barely live in this city. I haven't done all these things.
Let's be real. It's 100 things. How can you cover them all?
They only do that once a year, I think.
Oh, the tunnel tour?
No, not that.
Oh, I've been on the bridge, but I've
Walked underneath it. Yeah. I never noticed that you could walk underneath it.
I actually did this. It was actually kind of dangerous. I mean, there were boards below you that led, if you fell off the board, you'd end up in the river or smashed on the rocks below. It was
great.
It was really fun. You can go in and you see, I think it goes underneath the road. So on the top layer is the street, which still exists and cars still drive on it. And on the lower level is where the trains are. And if you go under there, you just, you get a little bit of piece of history, and it's really interesting to see. The subway trains used to go under there.
I'm going to have to do that now. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That is pretty cool.
I think you can learn a lot from urban exploring, which I haven't really done because I don't want to get kicked out of any place that's already closed. But I think it's cool. I think there's a lot of things that you can learn if you put yourself out there. I've walked through some neighborhoods where there's just closed places, closed shops, and I always wonder what they look like inside, or closed buildings. Well,
I mean, I think there's some of those closed buildings have certain residents that don't want to quite leave. So maybe it's good to just keep those buildings boarded up until they can be of further use.
There are some urban explorers actually noticed online recently, and maybe we could try to find one of them and
talk to them
and get them as a guest one.
They'll be so secretive though. They'll be like, meet us at the abandoned observatory.
They could have fake names.
Ooh.
Who would do that, though?
Thing 1, thing 2.
Yeah.
Number 19, karaoke at Tina's. You can belt out, "Don't Stop Believing" at just about any corner bar. But do yourself a favor and sing your little heart out at Tina's nightclub. Excuse me, my heart is big. Thank you very much. The nondescript building squirreled away on the back streets of Detroit Shoreway houses the strangest, most fervent, most eclectic karaoke in Cleveland. Every day of the week, every day, go forth and sing.
I've always been afraid to, I don't know what it's like hearing the way my voice sounds. So I tried it once, and this wasn't at Tina's, but I think it was at a place in Coventry, near Coventry maybe. I'm trying to remember. But I tried it once. I tried it with Red Hot Chili Peppers' "Hey Oh," and it was not a good song choice. It was very difficult. And then my friends showed up and they got it on Snapchat and they sent it out.
I'm pretty sure I've seen you do karaoke, and wasn't it?
Were you there?
Lakewood?
Was that in Lakewood? Yes, that was in Lakewood. Corky's. I was going to say Carol's for some reason.
Which I'd put Corky's over Tina's, honestly.
Interesting pick.
I've been to Tina's. It was with our next guest, actually.
Ah, yes, our upcoming guest.
Upcoming guest.
But we won't reveal it yet until the episode.
Right.
Finally, number 20, look out from the terminal tower observation deck. This one's pretty straightforward. We know what the terminal tower is.
Yep. So, so for the lung cancer walk, so that's something that runs in my family. We every year we try to. So the walk is basically you walk up all these flights of stairs. I think it was over 500 or something or so. And we do this walk.
500 steps.
Yeah, 500 steps. We do this, and I don't remember the exact. My brain does not seem to be working today, which is perfectly planned, and that always happens to me. So what we would do is we would climb to the top of this building, walk the stairs, not climb like Spider-Man on the side. I have superpowers. I am Spider-Man. I forgot to tell you guys. So, and what we would do is all the money we would raise in our team, we have to raise $1,000 per team, I believe. And we would donate. This is donated to American Lung Cancer Research, and it's great. And I love when my dad shows up and he does it, and we all go out in Lakewood and we go out for brunch afterwards. It's great. So that is a very personal connection for me. I've done that 2 years in a row now with my family and many others who are either going through it or are survivors of it. So it's really a great place and has just a lot going on there. And it's a very personal connection for me.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Very well put. Look at that. Such a beautiful line. I actually had a little bit of a different personal experience with stairs. I remember I traveled to Florence, Italy, and there's this big church called the Duomo, and it's one of the biggest domes in Europe. And you see these pictures of satanic hell on the top, demons eating humans, and you're like, so this is a church, huh? But there's a weird thing that there's different levels and layers of the dome. and you can actually scale it all the way to the top of the dome in 463 steps. And these steps, let me tell you, these steps were the tiniest steps I have ever seen. Let me mind you, I was about maybe 11 at this time, so I'm wearing like a size 11 shoe. I have really big feet.
11.
11, and I have a very wide foot. These steps were about maybe a size 10 children's size. Like, these steps are tiny, and we're just running up these stairs. I have to actually like crawl like a baby to get to the top of these stairs, and everyone has to do it this way because the steps are so tiny. But it's just, I was just thinking about that. That was like my greatest accomplishment in terms of going upstairs. So when you talk about the 500, I'm like, I don't even know how you could do that.
Neither did I. But the Bloody Mary and the egg omelet we got after was worth it.
Well, there we go. All right, so that's 11 through 20, which means that you got through that part. But we have another segment, which we discussed before, which is food, something that you love indeed. So how this is going to work, we have the 10 best restaurants altogether in Cleveland, according to TripAdvisor. I actually found it this time, unlike last time. So this time around, just give us a couple of recommendations for a couple good restaurants. What are some good places to eat? And then I will reveal the top 10 and then your reaction to them.
Do you want 10 from me?
10, 5, whatever feels.
Whatever comes to your head.
Between 5 to 10.
So let's see. So I'm going to start at 10 and go to 1 again. So 10, I'm going to say melt. I am going to say melt at 10. The food there, you can get, I got like the vegetarian menu, which was an eggplant one, but it didn't taste like eggplant. No eggplant in there, but it was really good. Probably a ton of calories with a good beer. So that's number 10. Number 9, I think I'm going to put, all right, let's see.
Sounds like a bird.
All right. So I'm going to put Winking Lizard because I love Winking Lizard. I go there all the time. I've gone there after hikes. I've gone, and specifically the one in Bedford Heights, and then there's also one that's not in Cleveland, in Peninsula, which is closer to Akron, but this is a Cleveland show.
Peninsula is
right.
We're doing Greater Cleveland. We can do whatever we want.
Okay. Yay.
But Peninsula is by far my favorite one.
Yeah, I agree. There's like a bike trail, and at the end you're rewarded with wings and some food and some beer and maybe some water and hiking.
Hiking as well. And also in the basement they have a really great whiskey bar, so that's really awesome. They do. I went down there one day when had no chairs upstairs. I just gotten done off a long hike. It was the middle of winter. Great time to go for some food. When I lived in Columbus, I would travel to Cleveland to go to Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and we'd always eat at Winking Lizard in Peninsula every time afterwards. And I would come back to Columbus and I'd tell people, oh, there's this great restaurant in near Cleveland called Winking Lizard. And somebody was like, yeah, there's one over on Bethel Road. And that was when I realized it was a chain, like a local chain.
There's a ton of them. There's even one next to the federal building on East 9th.
Oh yeah. There's two downtown, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So yes. So specifically this one. And the next one I'm going to add is kind of like a plus one to that one. It's actually Lizardville, which is located in Bedford Heights. Right next to it is a Winking Lizard. But this is only at this location, I think. They have it's just beer. They have food there too, but the main focus is beer from all over. I started my beer collection. I have a beer collection of all the different bottles that I've collected.
Really?
I have like 20 or 30, and they're all from this place. So Lizardville, and I've had lots of, and they also have whiskey there too. So I remember I was there with one of my buddies, Nate, and we saw this whiskey there that was called, I think it was rum. It was called George Dickel. So we always have a joke about that whenever we go there.
Dickel?
Yeah, George Dickel.
George Dickel. That's a very unfortunate last name.
It was top shelf stuff, so we couldn't afford it.
Indeed. It is indeed a top shelf dick.
I wasn't completely going there, but thank you.
It has Dickel in it. We might as well make the joke now. We're talking about skyscrapers next. There's going to be a ton of things about male reproductive organs. We might as well get it out now.
I used to have a friend who was highly religious, and his girlfriend's name was Sharon Cox.
No. You're not. You're kidding.
I am not joking.
That is so.
How did they spell it?
COX.
Oh, was he?
Like Courtney Cox. But, it was such a great joke, but we couldn't tell it because he was so highly religious.
Oh, man. That is funny. So what was some other recommendations?
So the next one I was going to go maybe kind of follows that joke. It's called Brew Nuts.
Oh, yeah. That is pretty good.
And this place is not, it's more like, so it's more like a fun spot. None of the food is healthy. I remember I had a meetup there with a friend of mine. And I made the terrible mistake of having Chipotle before, which is a terrible idea. But what this place is they specialize in beer and donuts. So the night we went there, this was like a big group of people. They had a special where you could get ice cream on top of a huge donut, like about as big as this hat that I have right in front of me.
That's a huge donut.
And they had ice cream on top of it. I did not get one. I settled for a huge donut without ice cream.
I would have gotten the huge donut with ice cream.
It was very tough not to. I'm not good at hard decisions, though.
The concept of this restaurant was highly criticized. Well,
I doubt
highly scrutinized.
Scrutinized, yeah, that's the right term.
I doubt the doubters.
But we're getting high praise this week.
We are. All right, so next I'm going to go with XYZ Tavern, which is, I always used to go there after Frisbee. Went there a few times. And this place they have great pizzas. They have great beers. And I think they have other food too, but it's not even so much the place. It's just like where it's located. It's such a nice area. You can go outside.
Where is that?
I think it's right across from Brew Nuts, actually.
Okay.
Right across the way from Brew Nuts. It's in that, it's in that area.
This is Detroit Shoreway.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like West 60 something.
Which is just west of the city.
Just west.
And they've got this great patio. And I just remember like being out there, and this was like a few summers ago, like after Frisbee, we would get this big table outside, and it was like an alley, and they would just give you all get pizza. You'd all be sharing pizza with your friends. It was just a really great environment. Number 6, I want to say that it is the Platform Brewery, because I really love going there. They let dogs in there, which is a huge +1. But they open their walls, like their walls are garage doors, and they open them in the summer, and it lets all this air and light in, and it's really refreshing, and I love their beer. So it's great. I love that place. I'm going to speed through the last 4. Yeah. So that was 6. 7, I am going to go and say 1815. This is a place where I actually live. That's like 2 seconds from my house. They have a great beer selection. They have an awesome patio that has like these comfortable couches and like fireplaces that are probably gas powered, but whatever. And they have great beer inside and great food. Next, I'm going to go and say Willoughby Brewing Company, because they have some of my favorite beer in Cleveland, like, or maybe of all time. And their food is also amazing. They have a huge loaded tots dish, which comes with like bacon. It comes with like all these different cuts. Like it's got like sausage on it. It's just huge. It's got cheese on it, and it's amazing. That with a beer is amazing. Next, I'm going to go with Pronzo, which is this is in Willoughby, also right down the way. So my dad actually built it. They have a huge party table in the front. My dad built that. Oh. So not only does it have a personal connection there, but the food is great. They have a great patio, but it's just great, and it's in a great area, great Italian food, and we're really good friends with them. They also do catering, and you can just get like any type of pizza you want. At my parents' anniversary, they brought it there, and you can just request. It was just pizzas all night, and they make amazing pizzas. Last, I'm gonna go with one of my favorites. Again, it's in Akron, but so not totally Cleveland.
We consider Akron part of Cleveland Metro.
Okay. So I mean, we might as well include the whole United States as part of Cleveland Metro at this point. The way that we're going,
taking it all.
Okay, California is part of Cleveland Metro. Los Angeles is a nice suburb.
So this is called Lockview. So they're known for their really good grilled cheese. And the first time I went there, I got a mashed potato sandwich, and I dipped it in gravy, and I had a dark beer with it, and it was in the middle of winter. So those are my restaurants.
So clearly, Jake loves one thing the most, which is beer.
And food.
And fear. And food.
But fear. He said in fear.
I know. I can't believe I said fear. Yeah, yes, you must fear the Jake. The Jake is one who with the endless stomach.
I don't know that I would use the word fear.
But still, it was a slip of the tongue.
But this is across from Lock 3 too. So you can do all the fun events at Lock 3 and then
You can.
and then head over afterwards. And it's right
skated.
downtown. It's a really great environment.
Oh, it's amazing.
All right, so here are the top 10 restaurants according to TripAdvisor, and I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. So first, we have Edwin's. We talked about this in the last episode. This is number 1, apparently, according to the ratings of TripAdvisor. This is a French restaurant, which, of course, has ex-convicts being the waiters, which is a really cool program. Number 2, the Blue Point Grill. This is downtown. This is more American contemporary seafood. Number 3 is Dante. We talked about this last episode as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these have come up again, but don't worry, there are some new ones.
Okay.
So again, Dante is American, Italian. Note that the top 3 are very expensive. So if you want to book it, this is going to be for a special evening, maybe for a special someone. Turn the lights down low and eat your frog legs and wins. Number 4, Taza, a Lebanese grill. Now this one's pretty interesting. I didn't know that there was a Lebanese restaurant in Cleveland. This is actually pretty cool. You might know where that might be, Jake?
Yeah, I've been there. There is a place right across the way that I used to go to.
Where is this exactly, like
It's in
location-wise?
Eaton Collection, which is in Beechwood.
Perfect. Okay. Number 5, the Albatross, Brazier, and Bar. That's right here.
Sounds
In
fancy.
Case Western.
Number 6, well, that's French as well. Notice that a lot of the top restaurants are French.
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui. Number 6 is a Dega, which is American Mediterranean. Again, the first 6 outside of Taza are expensive. So again, this is for a special event, a special night for someone like a birthday. Number 7, Red the Steakhouse, where is this one? I'm trying to figure that out.
Not sure. Oh, no, it's in Beechwood as well.
It's in Beechwood? Okay. And then from there, we have number 8 is the Crop Bistro. So this is actually this is, I think, around here, if I do believe correct. Let's see. Let's find this on the map. There was like a crop, or maybe it was chop. Let's see. Where is this? Oh, this is totally not where I thought this was. It's all the way in Ohio City. Oh. So I do not know what I'm talking about. But there was a restaurant that was like kind of like a vegan thing. That was like chop or crop, like maybe an offshoot, and they just recently closed. And they've not been able to get anyone in that space. It's like right around Mitchell's around here in this part.
They got chopped.
Don't get us started. Actually, ironic, because guess what number 9 is? The Cleveland Chop. So this one is an American steakhouse. And this one, do we know where this one might be?
In Cleveland.
Oh, yes.
Called the Cleveland Chop.
That's very, very astute.
I got it.
Okay, while Caesar's looking that up through our new bougie technology, we will now have number 10, which is Luca Italian Cuisine.
824 West St. Clair Avenue. So that would be, it's just the immediate west side of downtown.
Before the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically the top 10. I wish I could go into more detail, but they're all very expensive fufui. Again, those are good restaurants, but again, those are all pretty expensive, except for one or two. So if you want to just take your special someone, brother, wife, partner to these restaurants, those are highly recommended. The meals I heard, and according to TripAdvisor, are fantastic, particularly the top 5.
Hey, Fred and Caesar, you guys want to go to La Albatros with me after this?
Is that French or Russian? What are you guys? We're going to a French restaurant. There should be more. We shall go to the restaurant, no?
Oui, oui.
It's actually funny, I took some French courses, so although my French is rusty because I've not used it in a while, but I always have bonjour, ça va, comment allez-vous?
Escargot.
Escargot, get out of here. But I think the big phrase is je ne comprends le français, which I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Like, I think I'm missing something in that sentence, but it means I don't understand French. So that's always a good, useful thing. So if someone comes up to you in French, like someone offering to light up your cigarette, like that happened to me, then I just go, sorry, madame, je ne comprends le français. Other than that, that is the conclusion of our first 2 segments, and then we're actually going to get into the big skyscrapers that we talked about. Woo! Skyscraper got back. Let's take a break. Good evening. I do believe that one of the great things about podcasts is that you can find them at facebook.com/The Cleveland Podcast.
God help us.
I found it on Facebook.
Or find us at the website known as theclevelandpodcast.com. Or even on the YouTubes where you can watch it for free. Indeed, it's fantastic. A fantastic performance. Now take me on a journey. Imagine a fireplace. And this fireplace was a source of great energy for the storytelling of the Cleveland Podcast.
2 Tulsas.
They are 2 star-crossed podcasters. You Liverpool prick. I was trained in the very prestigious University of Cambridge. You eat fish and chips and say it's fish and chips.
Speaking of fish and chips, I made you your fish and chips for you and all your friends you're talking to. Hi, everyone.
Grandma, do not admit that I ate fish and chips. No, what are you doing here? This is my studio, pricks. Who are you? Excuse me, Mr. Ghostman. Mr. Smelly, Moldy Ghost. I am doing a narration.
Oh, Smelly Moldy Ghost, do you want some fish and chips? I made enough for everyone.
No, I will eat your soul.
Oh, I don't have one.
Take a shower, Smelly Booty Ghost.
Goodbye, everyone.
The opera piece that we just heard was provided by museopen.org. The song was by Giovanni Battista Pugliese and is called Stabat Mater. Music that you're hearing now was written by today's guest, Jake, and is released by the label Acaphail Winter. You can find a direct link to his project, Endless Voyage X, by going to our Facebook site, finding the photo album for today's episode. The link to Endless Voyage X will be under the photo of Jake. You can also find links to our sources in that same album under the episode notes image, just in case you want to learn more about Cleveland's tall buildings. And just a heads up, the next segment is filled with unrelenting, explicit humor. If you're listening at work or somewhere with small children in the room, or you just don't like over-the-top, dirty humor, now would be a good time to switch to something else. Otherwise, let's get you back to the show.
Hey, we're back! And this time around, I like salad.
Oh.
The tables have been turned.
Oh.
Caesar!
Don't steal my salad.
Too bad. My salad's got mud in it.
What am I going to eat?
Nothing. I'm going to get DC to actually be the real co-host next time and replace you.
Oh,
Because since you stole my joke.
I was glad that I didn't die.
Gosh. It was quite fortunate that you did not die, unlike what I said in the commercial. Okay, we are actually going to move on to the actual thing we're talking about, which is large, phallic buildings, skyscrapers. What do you think? What do you think, Jake, when you hear the word skyscraper?
I think it is a very tall building. You know, I really think that the main purpose of skyscrapers, in my opinion, is just for people to shoot Donkey Kong down. When he comes into the city all angry, he climbs to the top. There's the plane.
That's King Kong.
King Kong. Sorry.
Not Donkey Kong.
My apologies to all
Well, it's
gorilla
inspired by
species.
Donkey's inspired by King Kong.
Is
though.
he?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that's what I think the point of the main purpose of skyscrapers was, just in case there is a big angry monkey king that comes into town, he'll have a place to climb.
And Godzilla needs some things to knock down.
Yeah.
I think we need to build taller buildings so Godzilla can climb to the top and we can shoot him down.
We're talking about something that was rather interesting, which is the time it would take to get to the bottom from the top. Pretty much if you're falling from the average length of a skyscraper is about 7 seconds, which is at 75 miles per hour. So I was curious, can you just do that for us? Can you just pretend like you're falling for about 7 seconds?
Will
Ready?
you push me?
Yeah, all right.
Ready?
I'm pushing
Oh,
you.
no. Oh, no.
Ah!
Oh my god, I'm falling, I'm flying. I feel like I'm falling, I'm flying, but in the splat.
Splat. That is the amount of time that you have between saying I'm alive and I'm dead. Now, of course, that's the average skyscraper. There are skyscrapers that are ginormous. They're huge, such as hotels in foreign countries that are over 2,000 feet tall, such as the Burj Al
Khalifa.
The Burj
Dubai?
Khalifa. Yeah,
It's got
the
a couple
Khalifa.
different
Yeah,
names.
it's a big hotel. It's like over 2,000 feet, or it's close to 2,000 feet, if I recall correctly. Now that one takes a long time, but we're here to talk about the skyscrapers in Cleveland. Caesar, do you have a interesting skyscraper to discuss?
Let's start with the tallest one. Key Tower. It was built in 1991, and it's 947 feet tall to the very top, 289 meters. It's 57 stories of office buildings. It's the pyramid-shaped roof with a spire at the top. It is the tallest building in Cleveland, and the national ranking is the 28th tallest building in the United States, 171st tallest in the world.
That's right. We have a top 200 building in terms of height.
There are a few cities in the United States with taller buildings: New York, LA, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Chicago. And some buildings that are similar in height are the Seattle Columbia Center, which is slightly shorter, and the Philadelphia One Liberty Place building, and 70 Pine Street and 220 Central Park South in New York City. It was built as the Society Center. The Terminal Tower was the tallest for 60 years, and city officials wouldn't allow taller buildings in Public Square, or actually anywhere in the city, because they wanted Terminal Tower to be the centerpiece of the city. And then in 1991, they allowed a taller building, finally.
It's pretty fascinating. I mean, I guess I like to put myself in the mind of the workers who build these, and I'm kind of afraid of heights. So having to build something that tall would be kind of scary, I think, especially given the fact that you're working 12 plus hour days as a construction worker. I bet. I think it's a huge accomplishment that we can build such great architectural masterpieces.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to the next skyscraper, which is the Terminal Tower, which was built in 1930. Iconic to Public Square and probably the most well-known building in the city, the place of all the public transportation, a place where there's okay-ish Chinese food and okay-ish Japanese food, and also a good place for shopping for Jordans, if you're curious. It has 52 floors, is 771 feet, 235 meters tall, in 50 Public Square, Cleveland. A recent restoration has an LED lighting system in different colors, such as commemoration for the Cavs winning the NBA championship, or perhaps the Cleveland Indians, or even the Cleveland Browns, which you don't really see their lights come on ever, because they keep losing.
Are there brown lights?
I mean, I suppose, but it would look kind of like a turd. It's like you want to have a turd color on the top of your building. That's kind of a very bizarre thing.
And this is the building that Jake talked about earlier, that he climbed all the stairs.
That's right.
Yeah, I did. I did. And I also did. I forgot to mention the Key Tower as well. Climbing stairs is hard. It ain't no joke.
Climbing any stairs. If it's 5 stairs to get to your upstairs bedroom, to 500.
I don't think I'd want to live in my house if it was 500 stairs to get to my bed.
Are you kidding me? That'd be too much. Let's see. What else is this? What else about Terminal Tower?
You can go to the top.
You can.
Right? Have you guys ever been?
Well, of course I have.
Well, we went to the observation deck.
Okay, I guess that's not the top, right?
I haven't really gone. They wouldn't let us go any higher than that.
When you get there, you go to the counter and they let you in a private area, and then you take the elevator to the 32nd floor, and then you walk through a hallway, and then you take a second elevator up to the 42nd floor. It's a nice place to go and visit and look out. It was one of the things that I first did when I moved to the city, and it really gave you kind of a view. It kind of gave you an idea of what the city's like. You know, when you're down on the street, you really don't see everything. But when you get up top, you kind of, that's there and that's there and that's there, you know. But the windows are dirty and it's a little bit gross. Have you ever been up there, Fred?
Oh, yes. This was pre-orientation for my university, and we were just trying to explore the different aspects of Cleveland. And I remember going up, and I see all this bird shit on the window, and I'm looking down on the city, and yet I see more bird shit than an actual skyline. And I sit there and I go, this is my first spectacular view of Cleveland. Bird shit on a window.
Obscured by poop.
Secured by poop. At this point, my Baltimore heritage was still very much active and allowed me to have a very much anti-Cleveland perspective, despite the fact that I was going to college here. But, of course, now I look back on it, and it was a humorous moment and a great introduction to the city, because outside of the sea of bird poop that was on the window, you could see the lake, you could see the Brown Stadium, you could see all those other wonderful buildings that this city holds. But at the time, it was considered a humorous, symbolic representation of what I thought Cleveland was.
I took a group of friends to the observation deck one time, and I didn't think about the fact that it was foggy, and we really couldn't see anything.
Wow.
Oh, no.
I probably should have adjusted my plans when I really didn't think about it until I got down to the bottom, and I looked up, and the top was in a cloud, a cloud of fog.
It stinks.
Yeah, but we went to the Mexican restaurant. What was it called? Rocco?
Zocalo.
Zocalo.
Zocalo. Oh, yeah.
Right. We went to Zocalo afterwards, and that was pretty great.
I love Zocalo. I have a fun St. Patty's Day memory about that. So this bar across the street was Flanagan's. That, of course, was all crowded. You know, everyone wants to be Irish on St. Patty's Day. So we go to the Mexican tequila place across the street, and we do Mexican car bombs for the whole day. Don't ask me what a Mexican car bomb is. I don't know, but it was a good time.
So good you don't remember.
Exactly.
But here's some other features about the terminal tower. One is a 3-floor mall. You can get all types of different food. You can walk from Rocket Mortgage Quicken Loans Arena to the train station buses. And, of course, you have access to things like Jack Casino, a movie theater, a food court and restaurants, hotels, and a nice little fountain to put your pennies in when you realize that there are too many pennies in your wallet. On top of the train station, which is within the terminal tower, it's a little lower level, all buses and trains seem to go through Public Square, including the red line, the green line, and the blue line. And, of course, the red line goes through pretty much through both east and west of Cleveland, pretty much going all the way to the airport. And then the blue line goes through more like Beechwood and Shaker Square. And then green line goes out a little bit south of that. But some other things about it is, of course, the observation deck. And on Saturdays and Sundays during the day, you can enjoy a self-guided tour of the 42nd floor that you're limited to 25 minutes, but admission is only $5. So $5, you get to see bird shit live.
Sign me up.
Yes, you want to see bird shit, don't you, Caesar?
I love it.
Would you like it on your salad?
No.
I would. I want extra bird shit. It's bring in a bird so he can give it to me fresh.
Yes.
So I went to this restaurant near Mentor on the Lake called Pickle Bill's. Mm-hmm. Has anybody ever been?
No.
Nope.
It's like right on the water. And there was a lady eating food, like a table of people right across from us. And this lady, a seagull came and ate her French fry. And she complained and she wanted her money back. She wanted the food for free because the seagull on the water ate her French fry.
Keep your eyes on your fries or you lose the prize.
Indeed. Actually, I ate a really weird bird. I ate an ostrich one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it alive or was it cooked?
Oh, it was cooked. I mean, I'm not going to eat a live bird. Are you crazy? But
Well, you are a mud monster.
I mean, that's true.
You can do anything.
Other mud monsters are a little bit more mean than me. Okay.
Ruff, ruff, ruff. I am a mud monster.
So uncivilized.
So uncivilized indeed.
200 Public Square, also obviously in Public Square. It's 658 feet, 198 meters, and they wanted to build it taller than Terminal Tower, but at the time in 1985, they said, no, we're not going to let you do that. They really wanted Terminal Tower to be the centerpiece of the city, which is, I think in hindsight, kind of dumb.
Yeah, kind of a bad idea. But then again, what do we know? We're just a bunch of people talking on the podcast.
It's the 4th tallest building in Ohio. Has an 8-story atrium and a lot of fountains, and it's a pretty cool place to visit.
Mm-hmm. Actually, going back a little bit to the tall towers, you ever been to Willis Tower in Chicago?
I've not.
Well, it used to be called Sears Tower, but they have like this glass pane or like glass, like kind of a cubicle, I guess, cube that you can step out to and observe the city from below.
Right.
And
Are you brave enough?
Oh, I did. And the thing was, there's, as a mud monster, of course, everyone's like, hey, my view is getting obscured. I'm like, sorry, I just can't help it. But then all of a sudden, the bigger mud monster, my dad, he decides to enter this glass cubicle and he decides that, yes, us mud monsters can jump. He decided to jump up and down in where the glass, if that glass breaks, you fall from the top to the bottom of Chicago. So here he is jumping up and down and you feel the whole thing shaking and you see these tourists that were not covered in mud at the time and they cower in the corner thinking, no, I don't want to die. And there's my dad just jumping up and down on this part of Willis Tower. And of course, my mother decided to give him an absolute ferocious tongue lashing,
and none of the other people were like, "Stop it, man!"
No, they're just so scared. They thought it would break. Actually, recently, I think a part of the glass section of Willis Tower from the observation point did break. So that was quite scary. And we were thinking, Dad, it started because of you. It started to crack because of you, and it broke because of you. Think about what you did.
Wasn't me.
Thanks, Shaggy. A lot of buildings are built and bridges are built under the bend but don't break philosophy, right? It needs to bend or it will break. And so buildings sway because of that, and bridges sway because of that, which is absolutely terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Have you ever been on a bridge that just kind of rocks back and forth as you're going across it? Usually like a suspension bridge.
Oh, yes. My dad and I jump on those too. And it used to be a crowd of 20, and they were like really scared.
Which one?
This was in, I think, like Vancouver, I think. Like that really big suspension bridge. You know the one that's like in that like little rainforest kind of tourist destination. And we're just jumping up and down this thing, and everyone's like grabbing the dear life on, like white knuckled onto the sides of the bridge. And we're just jumping up and down. There's my mother. You two, I don't know you two. I'm going to push you off this bridge if you keep doing that.
All right, let's breeze through 4 through 10.
Yep. The tower at Erie View, built in 1964, 40 floors, 529 feet, or 161 meters for our non-American measuring unit listeners.
And this is the big, giant black monolith in the sky.
So it's the big black penis. Yes, indeed. It is. The big black penis is located at the gallery at Erie View. So if you want to see the big black building in its full girth, go to the Galleria at Erie View. Number 5, the One Cleveland Center, 1983, 31 floors, 450 feet, or 137 meters, 1375 East 9th Street, Cleveland, is unique because it's built at an angle, and most of the city is built more like a grid. Number 6, the Fifth Third Center, 1992, 28 floors, 446 feet, 600 Superior Avenue, Cleveland.
And this one's actually pretty cool looking building. A lot of these other ones, 4 through 10, are pretty boring. It's got also like the pyramid shape on top. I think it's got a green top as well.
Oh, that's a nice tip. I'm just going to, at this point, we're just going downhill.
Oh my God.
It's all falling apart now.
I think we need to name this episode Cleveland Skyscrapers, Penises in the Sky.
Maybe. Number 7, the Federal Courthouse Tower, built in 2002, half circle that you see on the left side of the skyline from the south, 24 floors, 430 feet, 131 meters, 801 Superior Avenue West. I'm afraid there are no reproductive organ jokes here. It is just a boring building that is indeed big. Number 8, the Justice Center, 1976, 26 floors, 420 feet, 128 meters, 1300 Ontario, Cleveland. Visually not very interesting. Basically, like most penises. Not very interesting, very ugly. Headquarters of the Cleveland Police Department and courtrooms.
I don't like going in government buildings because of the security. I mean, like, I don't have anything to hide or anything.
Right.
But you go into some of these places and there's just like criminals everywhere. And there's like, and you have to go through metal detectors and I don't really enjoy that experience.
Hey there, punk! Give me your money. Give me all your money.
Well, actually, that's actually interesting because I went to a female prison for I didn't get arrested in female prison, but I visited for business sake for an organization I'm involved with, and and I gotta say, it was like the Northeast Release Center, I think that's what it's called. It's on East 32nd, and I remember just they were so kind and nice, but I mean the prisoners there. They're so large. They're bigger than me, and I'm a mud monster. I was afraid I'd get eaten alive. But they were the nicest people I really have met. The whole collection of them, they were so nice. They offered me free pizza. I was digging it. I was like, well, this is not too shabby. And I got to hear about their stories and how they got into that prison, which of course is a very tragic story. But overall, I think, we don't have to be afraid of criminals as they are portrayed.
We could do another podcast called Pizza with Criminals.
Not a bad idea, Caesar. But that's against your salad rule. Number 9, Anthony J. Celebrezzi. Is that how you pronounce that? Or Celebrezzi?
I've heard it a couple. Oh, I think it was you that pronounced it differently. I think it's Celebrezzi, but I don't know.
Celebrezzi.
I don't know the answer.
Federal Building, 1967, 32 floors, 419 feet, 128 meters, 1240 East 9th Street, Cleveland. Also not very interesting. Government agency offices. I've actually been down there. The cafeteria is really nice. They got nice soups.
Yeah.
I like their soups.
Nice.
I bet it's breezy at the top.
Oh, it's actually, there's a lot of wind down there, so you're not wrong.
They probably celebrate the breeze.
Number 10, the PNC Center, 1980, 35 floors, 410 feet, 125 meters, 1900 East 9th Street. Not very interesting, but it is a penis that can count numbers.
And then we finally come to an interesting one.
What is it?
The 9. You'll know the 9 when you're driving.
9 inches?
900 inches.
Oh, wow. That's
more
pretty good.
Probably 9,000 inches. Well, it's I don't know who's good at math. 383 feet.
Hold on. Let's you keep talking, and then I'll calculate the numbers so that way we can give a proper penis size.
117 meters, 29 floors, 2017 East 9th Street, Cleveland. And you will know this building when you're traveling down 9th Street by all of the assholes parking horribly on the street, in the middle of the street, thinking that the street is their parking lot.
They serve alcohol and pineapples at the top.
Oh, I guess that's worth it then.
I hear they're like $30 though.
Oh, but then it's special. That's special. Wait, what was the feet again?
The feet, it's 383 feet.
3 feet times 12.
How many inches is that? Giant penis in the sky?
4,596. Basically, this is about 510.667 Ron Jeremy's. that is the total length. You gotta know your porn stars.
This
man.
episode is going very.
Push me off the imaginary building again.
Yes.
Ready and go.
Oh no!
One,
Mother!
3,
Save me, Mother!
4,
I'm sorry for that
5,
one time at Christmas.
6.
Oh dear.
Oh no, we just killed Jake.
Oh, now we need another guest.
All right.
But I do see a guest. Hello, gals, it's me again, Smelly Moldy Ghost. I'm back. Who's gonna? He's a.
The smelly money goes. What? It smells so bad in here. Did somebody leave a wet blanket somewhere?
Oh, that was my tissues.
It smells like someone just let a whole bucket of boiled eggs just sit out in the sun for like a week.
Smelly moldy ghost made me laugh in the past. He's kind of creeping me out today.
Oh, that's the whole point, man. It's all about being the special humor. I'm a specialist in the disgusting realm of things.
All right, this was originally the Cleveland Trust Bank. You might know that there's actually 3 buildings as part of this building, as part of the 9, and one of them is the Rotunda, which we have talked about in previous episodes, which is now Heinen's.
Love
right.
Heinen's.
Huh?
I love Heinen's.
Yeah, Heinen's is a local grocery store that's really all around the city, but this one happens to be downtown.
By the way, great bread for making French toast. So
Yeah,
if you want to
Heinen's.
make French toast, and you crack a bunch of eggs, and then you dip the bread on both sides, and then you grill it, and then you get that. Well, this is the family recipe, the Mud Monster resipe. But you get some great French toast out of that. So get the challah bread at the Heinen's, and you
I've done it before. It's great.
Holla!
holla for the bread.
Holler at your boy.
No. What else about the building?
This is infamous for Kareem Hunt footage.
Oh, that's right.
Not a very good thing to have on your resume.
Yeah, no. Hi, I'm the guy that kicked the woman because, well, I couldn't quite control my temper. But at the same time, supposedly though, it was what she said was not very good and very insulting. So,
Ironically, this is how he ended up in Cleveland.
which is, I guess, a interesting situation. But he's currently suspended for 8 games. We'll see what happens.
And he will be on the Browns halfway through the season.
Yeah, those will be interesting.
Next is Hilton, which has been built since I first moved to the city. I think it was under construction when I first moved here, and it's really a beautiful building, and you see it mostly from the water. It's a big glass building. It's there's 600 rooms. It was built in 2016, 374 feet, 114 meters. It is on 100 Lakeside Avenue East. It's close to what they call the mall.
The mall.
You guys know what the mall is?
Darth Maul?
Yes, it is. It is the Sith Lord or the Sith Apprentice.
When I first moved to Cleveland and I heard people talking about the mall, I thought that was like there was some like place to go shopping downtown. But apparently this is more like the mall like in downtown Washington, D.C.
Get mauled by a wild Wolverine.
The mall has grass. I doubt there's any wild animals, Jake.
One of the definitions of a mall is a large building or series of connected buildings containing a variety of retail stores and typically also restaurants. But the one that applies to this mall is a section of street typically in the downtown area of a city from which vehicular traffic is excluded. So pretty much it's just a bunch of grass. So this is the largest hotel in the city. It's the tallest hotel in the city. It was built by the city and the county to attract larger crowds to downtown Cleveland and the convention center. It was finished around the same time as the Republican National Convention. There's over 50,000 square feet of meeting space. There's an indoor pool and a fitness center. But the coolest part of it is that there is an on-site dining and top floor bar called Bar 32 with views of the lake. It's pretty pricey. Have you been up there?
No, but quintessentially, it sounds like the Hilton is a penis that provides room service.
I think you just need to go up there and buy a beer just for the view. I think the beer like starts at around $8.
Oh gosh, that's pretty expensive.
So I think it'd be fun if you just went up there and drank one beer, and then unless cost ain't no thing,
yes.
then you can just go up and blow all your money.
Yes, indeed, blow it. You're going to really feel it at the end. Next, what is the next penis?
The next one is the AT&T Huron Road Building.
So this one does telephone calls like a booty call.
It was built in 1927, so it's got that old Ghostbusters building kind of
So
look.
it's a wrinkly penis.
It's 24 floors tall, 365 feet, 111 meters. It's on 750 Huron Road, Cleveland. It's the tallest Art Deco building in Cleveland, and it was the tallest building in Cleveland until the Terminal Tower was constructed. The Rhodes Tower, built in 1971, 23 floors, 363 feet, 111 meters on Euclid Avenue. The tallest academic building in Ohio, the second in the U.S., named for former Ohio Governor James A. Rhodes. It's on Cleveland State University, and there's a big sign on it that says CSU.
Indeed.
1111 Superior is called the Eaton Center, built in 1983, 28 floors, 356 feet, 109 meters.
So basically, those are less impressive phalluses.
We really are going to have to call this episode Penises in the Sky, aren't we?
Wait. I think I got it. Penis in the sky and skyscrapers.
This is going to be another explicit episode.
Oh, I mean, come on. It's us. I mean, how can we not get through one episode without a penis joke? We had money shots last week, and now we have penises this week. We just rub it close with our content.
We could rub this out.
What's the next building?
The Ernst & Young Tower, built in 2013. It's over by the Flats. It's pretty. If you're over on that side, it's pretty visible. If you're over on traveling through Route 9 downtown, Route 2.
Route 2.
Whatever it is. Anyways, Ernst & Young Tower, 21 floors, 330 feet, 101 meters. It's under the Big Blue Bridge on the Flats East Bank. Next is the Marriott at Key Center, which is actually attached to the Key Tower. 28 floors, 320 feet, 98 meters, 127 Public Square, Cleveland. And then we're not really paying attention to numbers anymore. We go out to One University Circle, which is close by to where we are at Case Western. It was built in 2018, just completed recently. 20 floors, 234 feet.
You know that the average cost for that building for University One. You know how much rent costs there?
No, how much is it?
About $1,800 a month.
That's expensive.
I mean, just for a studio.
I've liked them on Facebook, and some of the views look pretty amazing, and the amenities look pretty awesome. But I'm not sure that any building is worth that amount of rent. Let's talk about the buildings that are being built. The Lumen. It's going to be a big one.
You heard about that one, Jake?
I have now.
To shed some behind the scene imagery, we actually did this as our first episode in May, I think.
In May, yes.
Yeah.
Back when we were young podcasters, didn't know what we were doing.
Not our first episode, our first practice episode.
Our first practice, yes.
And when we first started, what was that? 3 months ago? What is it right now? It's August 11th.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
When we started in May, this building was like maybe 1 story tall or maybe just a basement.
Right.
And they were just digging out the basement. And now it's very visible.
Now it's almost a full erection.
It's half chubbed. It's half chubbed. It's definitely interesting. You have to think, you have to really think about how these buildings, these skyscrapers are made. You ever think about it, Jake, that it seems like all these magnificent buildings that people make, it's got to be compensating for something. Don't you think that you have an interview of like the partner of someone and they go, yeah, he's a great architect, but he's lacking in certain other functions. I mean, think about it. You make something so big, you have to go, now this is an example of how I am super cool, even though I might have a tiny package.
This one's going to change the skyline.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 34 floors, 396 feet, 115 meters. It's going to be on Euclid Avenue at East 17th Street. And it's going to be one of the furthest east skyscrapers in downtown Cleveland. It's near the Hanna Building. The Hanna Building didn't make the list. There's going to be 319 residential units, a 550 space parking garage. It's going to be on the corner of Euclid Avenue and East 17th Street. The groundbreaking was in April of 2018. Construction began later that year. When they started digging, they found parts of old buildings that no longer exist underneath the ground. This has been the largest residential project in downtown Cleveland in 40 years. They received a $10 million loan from Cuyahoga County to build this building. There's interest in the loan. And so the city will make money from the interest. But for the people who built the building, they got the loan at a lower interest than they could have got from a bank. So, Cleveland is really trying to push for some development in the city. And I think they brokered a deal with this. Another one that's going up now, which is almost finished. Again, when we started this 3 months ago, this building just had a bunch of yellow siding. And now it's almost complete. It's one of these buildings that aren't really, the windows don't go up and straight up and down. They're kind of like offset. So it's a really interesting look. It's 19 stories on top of an existing parking garage. The parking garage was built in 2005 with intent to have, a building put on top of it. It's near Public Square. It's actually near 200 Public Square, like right next door. Then there's the nucleus. It was intended to be a 54-story building at first, and it's now been reduced to 24. Because when they first started building the building...
Was it gotten cold balls?
When they first started building the building, they had...
Come on, you gotta admit that was good.
When they first started building the building, there was more residential need downtown. And once they got around to it, they realized that they don't have enough tenants to fill up the entire place. So they reduced it to 24 stories.
So not enough sperm.
Right. It's going to be right across from the basketball stadium where the Cavs play. And there's going to be retail and residential. Well, what do you guys think? We've learned about the skyscrapers of the city and talked a lot about penises.
Well, I think we live in a great city, and I think it's just getting better.
Yes, it's becoming a very much enhanced place. That's for sure. I guess you could say we're just really stroking it home at this point, and that we're just reaching our climax. Indeed, this is indeed a toe curling experience, and I do hope that we just get that orgasmic moment when we realize that the city is indeed as beautiful as it looks when shaved. Indeed, I am just keep going with these sexual performance jokes. I guess you could say it's indeed a wonderful thing. the underbelly of Cleveland. It's a series of pubes and balls.
This episode really went downhill.
It did. In fact, it went so downhill, it went down south. And then it never came back.
What
can we do?
Where do we go from here? I don't think my notes are like really relevant anymore.
I don't think they're relevant anymore either. From now on, we're just gonna. I think our whole podcast is now just going to be. We're just gonna make us a bunch of sex jokes, and our guests go. Okay.
Oh, this is where we lost all our following.
This is the beginning of the end.
I'm not ever listening to Fred and Caesar again.
Well, if we just change it to Smelly, Moldy Ghost, that's the secret. We just have to be more explicit.
I'm going to have to do so much editing. I got so spoiled by the last one. I didn't have to do any editing at all.
Was the last guest much better, more behaved than I am?
No, the problem is I'm much less behaved now because because he was a photographer, so we're just trying to we're trying to be more professional. We're trying to advocate for his company, his sites, but then. You, on the other hand, you are a person that is here for shits and giggles. So, hence, we have entered the realms of debauchery.
You realize we're going to have to be serious on the next episode.
Oh, I know. But that's the best fun about it, is that we can vary between the two.
Right. We can be very serious people.
Yes. Very nice to meet you.
We can be ridiculous.
That's right. We really, we can really hold back, or we could just shoot our load.
God damn it.
I'm glad you caught that.
So other than penis jokes, what did you learn today about buildings?
I learned that they're growing and they're getting taller. And, Cleveland's a great place. So, whether it's a skyscraper or a small building, there's many different places you can go in Cleveland. And in some of the tallest buildings, you got some of the best sights around.
A lot of the buildings that are the tallest aren't necessarily like the most interesting.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Other than after we get out of Public Square, I mean, we just kind of breeze through 4 through 10.
But I think it shows that that a lot of the buildings that are made are not necessarily meant for artistic expression. They're meant for more just functional. Like you have an apartment with residents, tenants, things of that nature. After all, buildings are money makers. This is how cities make more money. So if you make more apartments, you get more people in, you charge higher rates, and then all of a sudden you're definitely performing in a very sufficient manner.
I was surprised to find out how much the government is involved in building some of these buildings, at least financing them.
I think what would be good for the city is if they just built some gigantic skyscrapers that are just for art. It might be a waste of money, but I think it would be interesting.
There's actually a couple of buildings like that in Barcelona where it was made by a couple of a famous Spanish architect. I think his name is Gaudí. And Gaudí was known for this really trippy style of using nature depictions within his work. And so you can see buildings made out of weird looking abstract concepts, abstract noodles. There's a building that's it's a depictions of fish, and that's the entire building. Then there's this most famous work is the Church of Sagrada Familia, which is this grandiose depiction of just abstract art and these kind of unique and colorful depictions of kind of the Catholic religion, and it's a really exquisite thing. I guess you could say it's a very, very well decorated penis.
Wait, I've heard this story recently. Did that guy die?
Oh, Gaudi died decades ago. He died because he got ran over by a train.
But he died and it was unfinished.
Yeah, and now they're just about to finish, or they just finished it.
Okay.
Yeah, because the plan was so complicated that they didn't know how to do it when he died, so they're just I don't know what to do with it. And then they started to try. They just couldn't really get the materials until later, and now they're starting to finish it up.
That's awesome.
This made me realize that the revitalization of downtown Cleveland is going pretty well.
It is going great.
Oh, I agree.
3 huge residential buildings going up at the same time. It seems pretty promising for the city.
Oh, I think anything we can do to bring more people here.
Absolutely.
I'm a little surprised that some of these buildings went up at a time when the economy wasn't doing as well. I mean,
Yeah.
the Cleveland economy is recovering and doing pretty well right now. Maybe not so much in the 80s when 200 Public Square went up.
And porn wasn't as good looking.
What wasn't?
And porn.
Oh,
It's grainy.
it's called vintage.
Oh, vintage. You call it
Not
vintage.
grainy. Back when there was hairiness.
Back when there was au natural. My skyscraper dope. My skyscraper dope. My skyscraper don't want none unless you got an underground garage, hun.
All right, that's it. This is the Cleveland Podcast. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you, guys. It's an honor.
Later. Woohoo.
I am Sir Wellington, Wellington, Hellington, Rellington, Wellington, 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 Wellington. Cheeseballs, the ninth. A story of two star-crossed lovers in an engagement to tell a story. A story about a small urban settlement.
Don't call us star-crossed lovers.
It's a Shakespeare reference.
No.
Fine.